To take your seat. There are just a few things that the Lord has given unto me that I want to share with you all concerning this 2025. And then we're going to give the Lord a good praise and we're going to go to the house. We've been sharing with the saints of God as we went through 2024 as the Lord was giving us certain things throughout the year. And one of the things that the Lord spoke to us most recently, the Lord told us maybe a couple of weeks ago, he says that this was going to be the season for us to enter into activating our faith. So we're going to have to be intentional in this season, in this year that we're going in, to working our faith. So that means certain things that we desire, instead of us looking for it to come through another source, begin to faith it into place. That means it's not going to come because of your strength, your ability, your skill set. It's going to come because you trusted God and God proved it. Now, I don't want you to go out there and try something large before you start out with something small. If it's a healing situation, lay your hands on your head when you're sick with a headache. Move faith to faith. So you don't get out there expecting God to do something big, and it's not God's fault. It's that you hadn't grown your faith to trust Him to bring it to pass. Don't go out here saying, I'm believing Him for $1 million, and you can't even trust Him to give 100. You understand? Start working your faith. This is one of the things that He's going to do for us in this season. He's going to start challenging us to working our faith in many areas of our lives. We're going to start doing things that we hadn't done before, and we're going to see God move and prove Himself. This is also going to be a year where we're going to see there's going to be stable emerging leaders that are going to start coming on the scene. We have leaders that are transitioning off the scene. We have leaders that are not equipped to be functioning because their focus is not the people, their focus is them. But God's getting ready to cause there to be a stable emerging leaders that's getting ready to come forward. So you're going to have people that have the heart for people that are going to be coming to the forefront. God might be dealing with you. There's also going to be a season where God brings us into this year where it's going to be a major self-reflection time. A time for us to really start looking inwardly and trying to figure out what can I do differently in this season that I've done in seasons past. We'll start looking at, have I really given God my best? Have I really honored God with my life? Or was it about something else? Self-reflection. There's also going to be holistic expansion that's going to take place this year. When I say holistic expansion, that means in every area of your life, you're going to see God growing certain things. So that means if you got business, business is going to start growing. That means what God's doing in your family, that's going to start growing. Whatever God's been doing in your finances, that's going to start growing. Your spirituality, God's going to grow you in that area. Your faith, He's going to grow in that area. You're going to start seeing these things take place. This is also going to be a year where as we begin to move into different arenas and different spaces, God's going to cause us to go in there, and before we say anything, we're going to observe first, and we're going to utter what He says in that space. Because He's bringing us to these spaces so that way we can create in that space what heaven wants in earth. So that means don't be so quick to say what you see. Hear what He says before you speak. Because even though it might be chaos there when you approach the room, God's going to give you what to say to bring peace. Is it making sense to you? And the final thing is there's going to be a time where you're going to see the saints of God start operating in the authority and their power again. So that means you're going to see people that are not running from the attacks of the enemy, but they're going to aggressively approach the attacks of the enemy. We're just coming out of a season to where the saints of God have refused to deal with demonic spirits because people have made them feel like that was hate or that we were embarrassing people. When people come to believers, they come and oftentimes they manifest because they want deliverance. Can I prove it to you? When you saw Legion, he came to where Jesus was. Jesus didn't say anything to the man. When he came in the presence of Jesus, the grace of God was so heavy on Jesus until he started to manifest. And he said to Jesus, don't cast us out before time. Jesus says, no problem. He says, go into the swine. You got the legal right to be in this region, but you can't stay in this man. And what's going to happen is we're going to see people start getting free again. As this starts to take place, this stuff can't be recorded on social media because the world don't understand spiritual things. Is it making sense? So there are going to be some spaces that the social media will have to be cut off so that way people can get their freedom and their liberty. Why? Because God's getting ready to do a new thing. You're going to have people that's going to come into your space, into your life, wherever you work, wherever you play, and it's looking like they're coming to disrupt your life, not realizing they're coming so that God can use you to bring about deliverance.